Hello everyone, and welcome to my commemorative speech. In today's world, music is the essence of what makes all of us human. It is an art form that is cherished by billions of people worldwide and values expressions of peace, love, empathy, and equality. Many people have followed prior expressions emphasized by one musical artist in particular, such as John Lennon, who has been known for delivering some of the most powerful messages and quotes of our lives, such as, "Turn off your mind, relax, float downstream." And also, if everyone could just be happy with themselves and the choices people around them make, the world would instantly be a much better place. All these many years later, we are witnessing some recurrences of what happened during the 60s and 70s, and especially with current musical artists who have expressed similar instances like John Lennon, such as Dave Grohl, who expresses a strong yet a very clear approach to his musical phenomena. As Grohl once said to a violent fan at one of his concerts, "You don't come to my show and fight, you come to my show and believe and dance." Grohl is one artist who many people look up to as a role model, being known as overall good guy. Grohl, from giving fans special surprises in the audience and on stage, to accepting a Peace Award offering from Courtney Love, while also crediting his peers and superiors for his major successes, and even performing on the Letterman show and welcoming back David Letterman after his surgery. It is clear that one of the godfathers of the alternative rock scene prides himself in the accolades of his entire life. Even some of the most notable accolades include being a landmark drummer for the band Nirvana, then fronting the Foo Fighters to multiple Grammy appearances. But it is also fans who have a much bigger say regarding those historic milestones. The earliest progression in Grohl's musical life all started out during the early 90s when he joined the Washington State phenom Nirvana, following his departure of a brief trial-and-error band, DC hardcore punk-based band Scream. In about a 13-month span, Nirvana quickly rose to fame with a brief August '91 European tour, followed by the second ever release, Nevermind, which hit platinum gold later that year. Nirvana's popularity would increase when they topped #1 on the top 200 Billboard charts and also premiered on Rolling Stone covers in '92. But just as it seemed that everything was on the right path for Nirvana, the band would unfortunately dissolve in '94 when frontman Kurt Cobain committed suicide. Following Cobain's death, Grohl and longtime bassist Chris Novoselic performed alongside the Stinky Puffs in an Olympia, Washington post-Nirvana style concert. And they also tributed the song "I Love You Anyway" in memory of Cobain. Nonetheless, from the muddy banks of the Wishkah would spotlight Grohl's entire Nirvana existence later that decade. The demise of Nirvana was not the demise of Grohl. Grohl would move on to produce vocal and guitar tracks while also recruiting a few others such as Taylor Hawkins and a new band called the Foo Fighters. Instantly, the new band in the mid to late 90s solidified themselves as a generational inspiration with releases of the Color and the Shape album. Then came There Was Nothing Left to Lose and Grohl's Virginia Basement. The Foo Fighters would continue to flourish as they entered the turn of the century. They would continue working in Grohl's Virginia Basement to record their fourth overall album, One by One, which would mark them as a very experienced alternative mainstream rock band. Unsurprisingly, following that fourth release, a break was necessary for Grohl when he campaigned for John Kerry in '04. But after the Kerry campaign loss, Grohl and company already had new ideas for In Your Honor, the fifth overall release in '05. One particular track from their fifth album release, DOA, helped Grohl to emphasize that he can be politically motivated through his lyrics. DOA was a top 5 mainstream alternative rock hit at the time, despite it considerably not being one of their top 10 requested radio tracks to the present day. However, the Foo Fighters would segue themselves into the '06 Grammys list of rock nominees, even though they would not win any awards that night. While there was disappointment from the '06 Grammys shutout, there was a sense of fuel to the fire in the Foo Fighters' minds when they reteamed with Gil Norton, who helped them to produce The Color and The Shape. A sixth album was officially produced in September '07 called Echo, Silence, Patience, and Grace. And growing up into adolescence in '07 made diehard fans like me realize that the Foo Fighters were seriously for real. They would enter the 50th Grammys in '08 and would win Best Rock Album, plus Best Hard Rock Performance with The Pretender. It was clear from here that the Foo Fighters were a band that was on the rise. And without question, following the '08 Grammys double victories, a break was needed for all for about a couple years. But before that happened, a rare release called Wheels would joyously melt the hearts of all faithful fans and listeners. It was also established as one of their top all-time tracks en route to their greatest hits album, released in November '09. Once the refresh button expired conveniently for Grohl and company, the Foos went back at it again in September 2010. This time they teamed up with the Nevermind producer from '91, Butch Vig, to produce a new album signifying a further evolvement. Bridge Burning, which is the beginning track to Wasting Light, was performed live on Letterman, and many music fans like me thought that immediately we were witnessing the Beatles 2.0. The April 2011 release was a cornerstone for crazy, fast-screaming tracks, but also a bold reminder that Cobain was still on Grohl's mind with the release These Days, which is written to pull the strings of many hearts. One of the many hearts that has felt the effects of Grohl's music is KPSC music director Chris G, who says that the Nirvana track Marigold is among the top all-time tracks of Grohl's life. The switch with Cobain to drums and Grohl over to the vocals and the guitars helped Chris G to see the eventual path Grohl would follow when he later formed the Foo Fighters. The iconic chemistry between Grohl and Cobain also sums up why Nirvana is one of Chris G's top 10 favorite bands, because he avidly consumed their whole catalog while enjoying everything there was about Nirvana. So, as you can see from here, many people worldwide have cherished Dave Grohl's establishments, particularly with Nirvana and the Foo Fighters. A lot of what he has done and accomplished will be enjoyed by those many people for the rest of their lives. In fact, some of the best Foo Fighters creations have come in the last 3 years, including a 2017 Grammy title for the hit track Run. The sky's the limit for Grohl and all other former, current, and eventual artists, plus fans who will continue to follow his amazing influential paths. His music also brings peace, love, empathy, and equality, and he will continue to do that for the rest of his life. Thank you. Alright, and here is the audience. So we got Doc, there's Chris G and Evan, and then we got Lindsay. Thank you all.